So hello everybody, welcome to this primary edu session about reading progress, a really fantastic app within Microsoft Teams. My name is Tim Clark and I'm proud to be head teacher at Cornerstone Church of England Primary School, and I'm joined this afternoon by my colleague Henry Penfold, who is our digital leader.
Hello, good afternoon everyone.
So the format for this afternoon is I'm just going to take you through a few slides, give you a little bit of an introduction and a background to reading progress, and then Henry will lead a demo. And then if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them at the end. So reading progress, it's about developing the children's fluency. That's the key thing here. So it's not so much about the comprehension, but it is about the fluency. And that fluency is split into three parts. So it's looking at their accuracy, so it's looking at the amount of errors they make, the speed at which they read, which can be very helpful when you're trying to decide whether children need particular more support, how many words they can read per minute, and then the prosody, the skill of reading aloud with the proper intonation, phrasing and expression, which I tried to do my best with there. And reading progress builds on these four elements as well. So it's looking at the phonological awareness that children have got and when they are accurate with that and where they perhaps have some challenges. It's looking at, as we said, the pace. So trying to develop that pace and that accuracy. But we also know that some readers struggle to understand the content, and then that affects their ability to read in all subject areas. So reading progress is about developing that fluency, getting the children confident, competent, so that they can use those reading habits across the curriculum. And what does this look like in Microsoft Teams? Well, when Henry does his demo, you'll see we'll go into Microsoft Teams and you'll be able to click on an assignment. If you've used Teams before, you will probably have set assignments with your class. So reading progress is just another type of assignment. When you send it out to your class, they will have the option then to read it and record it. And within those options, they can either do just an audio recording or they can put on their camera and do an audio and video. You can see here on the screen an example of what the text looks like, and you can see that when the person is ready to start reading, they'll click on that start reading and it will give them a countdown and then away they go. If you want though, you can open up the reading panel in Immersive Reader. So it is possible to make it more accessible and therefore adds that inclusion element. Once the children recorded, they send it back to you as they would any other assignment and you get to review it. But this is where reading progress is really great, is it will do so much of that for you. So it will look at how many mispronunciations the children had, how many words they omitted, how many words they inserted, when perhaps they've self-corrected, and if they've used any repetitions. And it will work all of that out using AI for you and give you a whole series of data. What's then really great is when you send that back to the children, they have the option of using Reading Coach. And if you've got Reading Coach, it basically means it will pick out the 5 words that they struggled with most, and it will say it to them, encourage them to then look at how they break it down, how they say it, and they can have that extra practice one-to-one with Reading Coach, which is really valuable. So that's just a quick overview. I'm going to stop sharing now and hand over to Henry, who's going to lead us on that demo. Thank you, Henry.
Super, thank you, Tim. So to begin with, this is an example class team that we have set up to demonstrate for purposes like this. So I can't necessarily show you real examples, but I can definitely talk about experiences of how I've used reading progress and how it's benefited for me as a class teacher in the classroom. So just like any other normal assignment, when you set a reading progress, we go to our assignments tab, and you have all the different home loan or assignments that you have set. And to set a reading progress, we go to create and we click create assignment. We can give it a title. We can give it some instructions if we want to. If it's maybe possibly a new time of using reading progress, maybe we want to give the children a bit of an insight into what they are going to expect. And then this is your key button that you're going to be pressing, the attach button. So in attach, you can obviously attach a range of different files, links also, but we're going to click on read in progress and it will take away us to another platform, another area within the read in progress area. So you can import a Word or PDF document, being wary that actually being careful of how much text you have on the page and actually how clear. So as a Word document, obviously it may be quite easy to import, but being careful of a PDF, there could be lots of things, maybe images that maybe interact with that importing. So just being wary of that. But even simpler, they've got a browse a sample library. And as you can see, these are a number of different texts that have been imported and set up for teachers that they can use straight away. It's in American grade, so often a quick Google helps you work out as to which the grade corresponds to the year group or adult of children that you teach or age of children. So you've got all the different grades across the top that you can sort by, and then it gives you the text. It tells you whether it's fiction or non-fiction. It tells you how many words, because actually depending on the children that you're sending it to, you don't necessarily want to put them off by the amount of reading they've got to do in the first place if they're not a confident reader. So actually that's a really important piece of data given there, that actually you can support the child and support with the setting of the assignment. And then you got the lexical range, which is a range that tells you pretty much the higher the number, the harder the text it is to read, the lower number, the less text. And as you can see, more words means a higher lexical range, just because it's for those older children. So I can filter through and I can see and sort by each grade. Now, you may have seen when I was hovering over that when I hover over, I get a preview. So I can click on preview and I can scan through or maybe possibly read this piece of text and see whether it's suitable for the age children that I'm teaching. Being wary that actually, being honest, that actually some of them you may come across some American spellings, particularly as you can see mum there. But actually that's a key education tool also for children, that actually mum is spelled in different ways across the world. You've got things we can look at all different, so they're both on. We've got a fiction text which is all about building blocks, and once you've chosen the text that you want to, you click select, and then you get a number of different options once you've set that text up. So it gives you the reading level, which I would leave, because actually if it's a text that's come from the inbuilt in text, then actually you know what the lexical range is. Tells you obviously it's fiction. It gives you a number of attempts. I always keep this as a low number, because actually I want to see a true reflection of the child reading the text. I don't necessarily want them to read it 50 times before they actually submit it to me. I want a real representation. I can include a time limit. And then this relates to the data that you are given back once they submit the assignment and you see that submitted assignment. So if I click it on more sensitive, it's going to pick up more errors, possibly can be, as it's through AI, could be inaccurate errors, which we can change, or it could be that it picks up less things and it's less sensitive when it does that. And then as Tim spoke, you've got reading coach and require video. Now, being honest, from teaching and using it, even when I had require video on, still children were able to submit an assignment without a video. So I think that's possibly a glitch in reading progress, but still something that actually you don't necessarily want, and I didn't want necessarily my children to have the pressure of having to submit through that. So then, as you can see with reading coach, it's got an edit. I can obviously turn it on. And there are a number of different things that it gives you options through with reading coach. So When they see the words, the 5 words that it selects, I can then give them some tools that they may use to help them with it. So it can show a picture. So I can show a picture of the app. I can click on it. I can stretch the word into syllables, or I can possibly even just hear the word. All of these being really useful. If I don't want the child to have that support with reading coach afterwards, or maybe I just want it that they just have one of these, I can select one of those as part of it, or I just want them to hear them read it. I can use these, I can show these tools straight away, or I can give them a time where they give one try first saying the word, and then it shows it afterwards. I can choose whether it's a number of different voices, as you can see there, depending on which name you like. And then I've got more supportive or more direct. Once I click save, those settings, as you can see, have been saved. And then I am there that I have added reading coach to my assignment. So now I can click on next. And now this assignment has a reading progress part attached to the assignment. So now you will see that a part of an attachment I have added in building blocks, which was the name of the text. I can't add in, I could add in more if I wanted to. We have all the other options that you can do as part of that, assigning to particular students, due date, time, and everything like that. And then once I've given it a title, it then gives me the option to assign it. So now that reading progress has been assigned. And once that's assigned, I can then click in, and unfortunately it's not going to give me any data back because this person has not returned the assignment yet, but it would give me some AI data that Tim showed on the screen to help me support with that. And I can go into insights, and I can gain even further information through this. And as part of this, I can gain trends, I can gain data as a graph. For me as a teacher last year, I was able to listen back to all of my children's reading progress and then pick out particular children that I wanted to focus in on as part of a reading intervention or extra reading with an adult, which meant that actually the children were getting the best bet from me. And actually a massive bonus of that was actually for Tim's side as head teacher with data. So one thing that we've always or I've always found hard is to evidence reading fluency, and particularly evidence that as part of our data and we call our actions with our children. So Tim's able to watch back videos that have happened and look at the data to see whether my assessment of that child matches the data that is given. So it was a really useful thing, and we had discussions as to, oh, this person's fluency is slightly dropped or their accuracy is slightly dropped, and we could gain that possibly it was a harder text, maybe there was something else that an external contributing factor with that. But reading progress data has been really insightful and really useful and given me a much better understanding as to the confidence in particular children's reading and fluency and which children I needed to focus in on.